Greetings, everybody. I thank you for viewing my channel. My name is Ra Imhotep, broadcasting on behalf of 13scienceastrology.com. Want to say peace to the family, and everybody out there watching the video. Just wanted to do this video on a topic that has been on my mind. It's been on my mind a lot in my own research, and I decided to kind of go into and share this topic with the listening audience out there. Now, I know a lot of people, they deal with the subject of past lives, and they deal with the subject of how a lot of us have been here before, and we've been on this planet. Some people have been on this planet various different times, and some people have been on even other planets various different times. And that's basically what you would call a past life. That's basically what you would call a past life. Now, in the natal chart, the past life can be researched based upon the nodes of the moon. The nodes of the moon. You have the north node and the south node. Now, the south node denotes the past life and the energies that you came to this present incarnation with. That's the south node. Now, the north node depicts the energies, the experiences, and the overall energies and experiences in general that you came to experience in this life. You see, in this life. So when you look at the south node, say for instance, if you have a south node, say for instance in Aries, if you have a south node in Aries, this means that your north node is in Libra, most likely. Most likely. That means that it's in Libra. So what that means is that you are coming from more of a selfish, individualistic, headstrong, borderline, hothead type of individual to more of an intellectual, group-oriented, balanced relationship. You're growing into that. So you came to experience more of a balanced reality and more of a cooperative reality versus more of a selfish reality, which is more so dealing with the Aries energy, because Aries deals with the self. So there's nothing wrong with being selfish. I'm just saying that in a sense of when you deal with the lives or whatever, that's how you got to look at it or whatever, as far as the energies of it or whatever. I mean, if you have a south node Aries and a north node Libra, then this means that you are going into a Libran air intellectual type of experience. This is the balance that your soul wanted to experience. It wanted to become more cooperative. It wanted to experience partnerships and harmony versus the Aries aspect of controlling people and things like that. So that's basically how you look at it as far as from an astrological point of view, as far as past lives. Now, past lives are very interesting, but the idea of past lives are changing. The idea of past lives is changing, and the reason why this is happening is because now scientists are beginning to understand quantum physics. And quantum physics is important because the ancients was very knowledgeable of quantum physics. Very knowledgeable of quantum physics. The ancients knew about parallel realities. The ancients knew all about parallel realities. So they understood quantum physics because quantum physics deals with parallel realities. The concept of quantum physics teaches that time is not linear. Time is not linear. You have what's called linear time, but this is man-made. But as far as universal time, or what some people call God's time is circular. Not linear, it's circular. And when you deal with time as a circle, you're dealing with past, present, and future going on all at the same time. And nobody knows where time begins or ends when time is looked at as a circle except the one who drew the circle. So the one who drew the circle is the only one that knows the point in which time will begin and end. Now, a lot of people, when they go into their lives and their past life experiences, they do not take into account quantum physics. They look at time as being linear. So when they look in the past, they're looking for a past life that was experienced in the past. Meaning that they may be looking for a past life that was experienced in Egypt. Or they may be looking for a past life that was experienced in Morocco. Or they may be looking for a past life that was experienced in England. Or they may be looking for a past life that was experienced in South America. But what these people fail to realize is that past lives is not based on linear time. So you could have what's called a future life. A future life. You have what's called past selves, and you have what's called future selves. Future selves. Now, I already went into your past selves. Your past selves is those aspects of yourself that may have incarnated here on this planet in the past. But what about future lives? What about future lives? How do we square that up, or how do we deal with that? Because we know if time is not linear, then this means that there are lives being experienced in the future by you. By you. Because if you're experiencing time right now, and we know that the now is a combination of the past and the future. So if you're watching this video right now, then this means that you exist in the future, one way or the other. It doesn't matter if a person dies. It doesn't even matter about that. Because if a person dies, they still will have a life in the future because they experienced now. Anything that's going on right now has some type of experience in the future, because it doesn't matter if you die, because energy is not created nor is it destroyed. It just changes form. So when you look at the spirit and the soul, these things are made up of what's called energy, not just matter or material. So in dealing with the spirit and the soul can experience future lives. And the future life script is even more important than the past life script. Now you could say a future life is technically still a past life, because you're saying, well, the only time is now, so I'm here now, so therefore it's really no future life, it's really just a past life, because this is a life that I experienced before or in the past. But literally it's really a future life. You see, you have to look at it as a future life, because it's going on in this life that you are going to experience. It has not happened yet based on the now. So it's called a future life. So really there's a difference between past lives and future lives. And that's something that really needs to be understood in this video, because I'm introducing this concept of future lives, because when you get into the concept of extraterrestrial beings, and when you get into the concept of beings going in and out of different realities, this is basically based on them being able to manipulate past, present, and future. So extraterrestrial beings, most of them are coming from our future. The Pleiadians, the Andromedans, the Sirians, these particular beings are coming from our future. And you could actually be one of these beings. You could be one of these beings, which would make you an extraterrestrial. Now, we know that humans have 23 different alien DNA codes or strands of DNA that is tied into the human DNA code. And with that being said, humans are extraterrestrials based on our structure physically. We have extraterrestrial genes in us based on our structure physically. But when I say that you might be an extraterrestrial, this is going into something deeper. See, all of us came from the stars. All of us are star seeds. But some of us actually have future lives where we are a part of certain extraterrestrial councils. We have future lives where we are a part of certain extraterrestrial councils. So when you look at it like that, you could be a part of the Pleiadian Council, and if you are getting contact from Pleiadians, you may be getting contact from yourself. And this is important. You may be getting contacted from yourself. And this is important because when you deal with future lives, most of it is dealing with extraterrestrial life right now in the present. See, the future incarnations and what we're trying to understand about our future incarnations and our future lives can be understood when we get into studying extraterrestrial phenomena. You see, because the Earth did make the shift in the future. The Earth will shift into the fourth dimension. It's already been experienced by certain extraterrestrial groups. And this is why it's important to study with certain extraterrestrial groups, because of the fact that you can get information about the future from them. So yeah, you do have future lives. And these future lives are tied into extraterrestrial groups. And you, and the drama that you experience, and the BS that you experience, And the baggage that you experience could be an alien group that knows about who you become in a physical future incarnation, and they're here to destroy that. And they're here to destroy you here in the now. Because if they destroy you here in the now, then they destroy you in a future incarnation. You see, there are beings that are doing this. And a lot of people, see, you guys don't realize that there are extraterrestrial beings that look just like you. That look just like you. There are extraterrestrial beings that are straight ETs, that are traveling interdimensionally, intergalactically, and they look just like you. And they can read your mind and tap into your mind. And the thing is that people, see, we are looking at people like extraterrestrials, and I'm sorry, we're not looking at people like extraterrestrials, but I'm saying we are looking at that whole extraterrestrial topic in a way to where it doesn't do really a lot of justice. The whole extraterrestrial topic is not given a lot of justice because it's talked about from more of a science fiction, spooky, cartoonish type of presentation. Even if you watch a lot of the cartoons, they're dealing with extraterrestrials. Like a lot of the cartoon characters, they have aliens in most of the cartoons now, because they're trying to season people up to the extraterrestrial topic, because right now people still are laughing about aliens. People are still laughing about it, and they think the aliens can't exist. But see, what they fail to realize is that aliens more so exist. It's beyond just them existing. It's the fact that you have different beings that chose to come back and to walk amongst us, and they chose to incarnate back. You see, because based on the quarantine, a particular being may not be able to visit here in their present form, but it's not to say that they couldn't send someone back in the personage of another human being. So therefore, this is how extraterrestrial groups have been breaking quarantine up until this point, by sending entities and extraterrestrial energies back through a human or physical shell. And this has to be understood. This has to be understood because a lot of people are laughing at the whole extraterrestrial thing, but you might be getting hell in your life by extraterrestrials based on what you became in a future incarnation. You see, you have future lives, and there are beings that do not want to see the future pan out to what it already has panned out to, because time is not linear, so the future has already happened. So there are certain beings that want to manipulate that by coming into the now. Now you might be saying, well, if this already happened, Ramhotep, then they can't manipulate that. They can manipulate it. Even though it happened, and it's already in the past, or it's already in the future, and it already happened, they can manipulate that. You want to know how they can manipulate that? They can manipulate that because of the fact that they can send beings into the present, into the now, and destroy your experiences or your experience in the future. You see? So they may come to mess with you in the now so that they can destroy your future. And if they do that, then that will separate you from that particular future that you experience, which will change the future. Because if you change the now, you change the future. So that will change that particular reality or that particular future. You see, it's about manipulating reality. And the way that you manipulate reality is through the now. Now, they can't manipulate existence. And I know I'm past due for a video. It's going to be very short, but I'm past due for a video that talks about the differences between existence versus reality. They cannot manipulate existence. They can only manipulate reality. So if they come and they fuck with you here in a present incarnation in the now, they can block off your experience from the future. See, it's about trapping you. They can trap you here now and block you from your future. Beings can do that based on what you might have became. You might have became a commander of the Andromedas. You might become a commander of the Syrians in a future life, because you have future lives. And time is not linear. So I have to keep stressing that. So what you became, these beings may try to come back and stop you from becoming that. Now, they did a movie on this, so people won't just think I'm just up here talking trash about future lives. They did a movie on this called The Terminator, and I'm sure many of you know about it. I mean, it's a very popular movie. They did a movie called The Terminator. And this movie called The Terminator was actually, it came out of a book that was written by a 5%er sister. A 5%er sister. And I'm going to do a video on her, so I'm not going to go too deep into it here. But the book was written, the book was written based off the Matrix script. Well, it wasn't based off, excuse me. The Matrix script and the Terminator script, the movies for that, all of those scripts came from a 5%er sister that wrote this book. She wrote this book. And that's where the Matrix comes from, and that's where the Terminator comes from. Comes from a sister that put together this book. Very powerful book. And I want to kind of just give her props or whatever before I talk about the Terminator. So the reason why the Terminator is important is because this documents things that the powers that be and the elites in the future have decided to do. And they decided to send beings back into the past to manipulate people's destinies, people's futures. Remember, your destiny is your destination. So they want to manipulate your destiny. You see, they want to manipulate your destiny. And in the movie The Terminator, if you remember, in part 1, because I'm not going to cover the whole movie here, because I'm going to wait till I do that video that talks about the sister that put together the Terminator, the book that the Terminator and the Matrix was based off of. So I'm not going to go into it here. But it's one particular part I want to talk about, and that is that the Terminator, you got to remember, he was sent back to protect John O'Connor. He was sent back to protect John O'Connor. Originally, well, actually, he was first sent back to kill John O'Connor's mother, the original Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator figure. He was sent back to kill John O'Connor's mother, and then in part 2, he became a protector of John O'Connor because he was reprogrammed as a machine. But it's important that this is pointed out because John O'Connor became a commander, and this is going into future lives. You see, Terminator talks about future lives. These were beings and rulers that sent back robots and machines into the present to destroy you in the future, to destroy John O'Connor in the future, which actually John O'Connor represents in the Terminator movie. He represents humanity. John O'Connor represents humanity. And he was sent back, he was a commander in the future. He was the leader of the resistance struggle in the future, and they sent the Terminator back to murder him, for those people that haven't seen it. So this is deep. There are future lives. That needs to be totally grasped and understood. There are future lives. You exist in the future, and it's important that you learn your future lives so that you can live a balanced life in the now, and so that you can know what you became and protect that. See, it's about knowing what you became in the future so that you can protect that from certain beings. Because there are people right now that you're talking to that, and these people aren't conscious of this. You got to remember, even the beings that are sent back to destroy you, a lot of them aren't even conscious of the fact of their mission to destroy you. They're not even conscious of that. So that has to be pointed out. And there are beings around you right now. This is, you got to understand this. That don't want to see you become what you became in the future. There are beings right now around you that do not want to see that. Some of them are your friends. They're your family members. They are your employees. They're your employers. These people were sent to block your future incarnation and to keep you trapped in this reality. So they want to block your future realities to keep you trapped in this one. And that's what they want to do. Now, a lot of people are going to ask me off this video, how can one find out about their future lives? In order to find out about your future lives, I would suggest, first of all, that you start to study all extraterrestrial knowledge. You got to study all the extraterrestrial knowledge. You got to do the history on the extraterrestrials if you really want to understand the future and your role. And then once you study the future based on extraterrestrial information, then the universe may send you a vision or an experience about your role in the future. Because if you saw yourself as a person that's stuck here or trapped here, you don't belong here, you may have in the future incarnation as a member of an ET council. And basically you may be quote-unquote an extraterrestrial. A quote-unquote extraterrestrial based on a future incarnation. And this is why a lot of people that feel like, see, they call it star seeds. And you guys already know, I believe and teach that everybody's a star seed. So this is deeper. But this thing about future incarnation, see, everybody didn't make it into an extraterrestrial council in the future. See, so everybody doesn't have this experience. This is selective. Because some people got stuck here in this reality and they didn't make it. Some people didn't make it. So they don't have a future. But then some people made it to the future, but then they sent beings back to block this particular person, to manipulate that aspect of reality, because this person was a key figure or a very prominent and important person in the future, and they wanted to block this person. So they sent people back. And these are the people that feel stuck here, feel like they don't belong here, feel like the world is against them. These people probably most likely have future incarnations as either an important person here on this planet, but this planet, you got to remember, in the future is in a fourth dimension. So if you have an important role here on this planet, it's based on a fourth dimensional reality. So in that, you could still be an alien if you have a future here on this planet. When I say people, some people are stuck or get trapped, that means they're stuck in third dimension. That means they're not going to shift to the fourth dimension. See, the earth is still going to exist in the third dimension, but it's going to be in a different reality and technically in a different earth. And I have to do a separate video on that, on the new third dimensional earth. There's going to be a new third dimensional earth, just to kind of throw that out there right here and now. But I'll have to do that in another video. So some people are going to get stuck there in the new third dimensional earth, and that's okay. If that's what you want, that's okay. But some people made the shift and have tapped into their future incarnations. Their future incarnations, and they are being tested and sabotaged, especially right now in this 2012 energy, by ET beings that know what they become in the future. So it's important. I know I keep saying this over and over again, that you tap into your future incarnations. And the first way to do this, like I said, is you have to remember, beloved. You have to remember. Everything is in your memory. So if you remember hard enough, because you have to remember, the soul is all about taking memories after death and about transforming memories after death. So the more you remember, the more you can tap into your future lives. It's based on memory, very much rooted in it. So you have to remember, beloved, and the best way to remember is to study ancient information, to work with certain crystals that will help you to be able to channel in future incarnations. Now I'm going to do a video on pyramids, and this will help you. This will actually help a lot of people with future incarnations or whatever. So look out for my video on pyramids. But at the end of the day, you got to study the extraterrestrial history and information. You have to, even just studying it, you have to meditate on it. Like once you study it, you have to meditate on it, so and begin to see yourself as a part of that history of the extraterrestrials, because you're thinking about it from a past perspective, but really you're studying the future when you study about most extraterrestrial groups, because they're more advanced than us. Most extraterrestrial groups are far more advanced than us, way more advanced than us. So you have to begin to learn about their history and their culture, and you have to understand that. I mean, because one day soon, when I say one day soon, I'm talking about within the next 5 to 10 years, extraterrestrials will be, the topic of it will be something that's accepted by mainstream society. The youth are already being probed for it through the cartoons. So studying this information is going to turn into a jewel, an asset, believe it or not. Knowing the history of extraterrestrials is fitting to turn into a jewel or an asset. It's really going to turn, because it's going to become a part of our history. It's going to become just as much as an asset as a historian, as someone who has knowledge of history. This is how you will be able to use the knowledge of extraterrestrial entities. So some people say studying about aliens serves no purpose and it doesn't mean anything, but that's not true. See, it didn't mean anything in the old world, but see, we've shifted into the fourth dimension, and in this new reality, it means all the world of a difference. It means a lot. You know what I'm saying? To study extraterrestrial entities or whatever, because it will make all the world's difference in knowing the history behind extraterrestrials, so that you can overcome it. So that you can overcome what happened. If you study the future and you study what ended up happening with humans based on the extraterrestrial knowledge and information, this is what will make you prepared. This is what the prophets were doing when they prophesied. Extraterrestrials were teaching them the history of what happened to humanity, and they came back to teach humanity, like, don't go this way. You can be saved. You can be spared. I've seen the future. I know what happens. I know what you guys become. This is what prophets are doing when they prophesy. And the ETs choose the prophets. and show them the future so that they can warn people. Because they always send a warner. It's based on universal law. They have to warn you before they kill you. They always have to do that. You know I say that all the time. But keep that in mind. So I know I kind of dragged this video out. Just had to, you know, bring it home. Hopefully people understand exactly what's going on with these future lives and future incarnations. There are future lives. There are future incarnations. It's more than just having lives that are based on the history, but you have lives that are based on the future. So I hope this helps. For more enlightening information, I hope that you visit my website. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll leave you in peace.